All right, we are moving in to a Golfnado. And is that how you say it? Golfnado. Take it away,
You
Dean.
can, you can say it like that. So I'm Ben. My pronouns are they them, and I'm working on this game, Golfnado. You can probably already tell what it is just from the name and from this background here. But it's a mini golf game with a destructive twist. Instead of flicking or putting the ball directly, you create tornadoes which fling the ball towards the hole. Your goal is to get the ball in the hole as few tornadoes as possible, and that's basically it. You can adjust the size and the strength of the tornado by how far you drag the input. Uh, and so it's a challenge of learning to use the control scheme to your advantage and obtain mechanical mastery over the ball. So one thing I want to emphasize here is that the entire background is going to be physics based. Right now, it's all just cubes, but this is going to be fleshed out to a fully destructible environment in the future. So I've got so here we have stuff like slopes, which introduce the challenge of if you're not careful, you'll just shoot it way off and it'll go out into the distance. Uh, I've got a bunch of levels built out here, but these all show off just the base mechanics of an environment and getting it to the goal here. But I've also got a couple different worlds here. Uh, each world will have its own aesthetic and its own unique mechanics. So here we have a bustling city where you have to get the ball to the other side across the intersection. And you've got pretty advanced AI driving the cars, as you can tell. Uh, I've got a factory with conveyor belts, which I'll show off. This isn't doing what I want it to do. There you go, very advanced AI. Yeah, so I've got this city with these cars will just always move forward. I've got a conveyor belt here, which will push the ball in one way constantly, as well as uh, cogs, which will slowly rotate and are immovable. I've got pistons, which can just accelerate the ball very quickly. Here we have a mountain world, which is precarious because there are very few walls, so it's easy to just fall off. And also, there are bridges which will fall apart if the tornado hits them. So my design philosophy here is I want to have many ways to interact with the environment uh, in good and bad ways that can either help or hurt you. A lot of the time, that's going to mean physics objects like these bridges, and that's great because it's super fun and intuitive to interact with physics. This game started as a game jam progress, a game jam, and it's seen a bunch of incremental progress since then. It feels and looks a lot nicer than it originally did, and I spent a lot of time tweaking the physics to feel just right. Uh, I sort of have a goal for a two-step release. First, I want to finish what I have now and put out a vertical slice, and that would be a full course with 18 holes, showing off all the mechanics I have so far, putting it out sort of as a demo and advertising it pretty heavily. And I'll have that out this summer. Next, I want to flesh it out more, have multiple 18 hole courses with different worlds, a progression system, and I want options to customize stuff like the ball color, the trail, this little preview you have, and then release it onto multiple platforms. PC, obviously, it would work great with phone with touch controls. Did make a phone build earlier, and it was amazing. It felt so natural. But at this point, it's hard for me to say when the full release would be ready. But keep an eye out this summer for a demo. Um, so I haven't decided if I want the core game to have just the regular world and have these other courses be extra. But I when I do finish it, I'm sure I'll come up with more ideas which I can add, which will be DLC. It is always clockwise, yes. Uh, um, so I mentioned that this was originally a game jam game. It was the theme was storms, and I came up with this idea, and I immediately fell in love with it. The original demo, I think, is still available somewhere because actually it was ripped onto several other sites without my permission. But that
Sure
means
sign of
that
success.
people liked it.
That's good.
It was terribly ugly, though, I have to say.
Velasden says, I'm guessing at some point there'll be custom storms to give personalization. Zane Everett, of course, asks, will there be an Aussie version? I just want to see Roby's slippers coming out from under one of the tornadoes.
An Aussie
Sometime.
version? Australian?
Yep, an Aussie version.
Oh, because everything goes wrong in Australia.
Yep. And goes the other way around.
So I had a suggestion from another person, which was an underwater level where instead of a hurricane, you control just a rapidly spinning octopus. And it's a pretty funny idea that it's hard to say no to.
All right,
but I'm
great.
not going to make any promises.
That was great stuff, Ben. That's Golfnado, everybody. We'll transition again. Get ready for Cutthroat Cavern.